Hello students, in this video we are going to see the applications of radioisotopes. In the radioisotopes find several applications in chemistry such as structure determination, elucidation of mechanism of chemical reaction and also in knowing how a particular drug function in a human body. In that, if we see that if the weak signals from the radioactive elements can be easily detected with the extensive developments in the amplification circuits. Therefore, a small concentration of radioactive isotopes is sufficient to follow its path in a reaction. When two or more radioactive isotopes differing in their half-lives, maybe these are available. In that case, the selection of a particular isotopes among them which is depends upon its applications. In that, if we see that the radiations from radioactive elements are harmful for human beings, then the concentration of radioactive isotopes is to be used as a tracer and it should be such that the signals from it could be easily detected, but it should not cause any health hazards to the workers. Here we can see that some basic assumptions of the radioactive elements. Let me see these basic assumptions. The first assumption is that in some problems the answers can only be obtained through the use of tracers, for example in self-diffusion like diffusion of sodium ions in solution of its salts. No other method except tracer is useful. Another assumption is that even if other methods can be employed to solve the problems, the advantage of using tracer technique over other methods is the convenience and simplicity with which the radioactivity is detected. These are the two assumptions, main reasons for using the tracer in a chemical research. Let me see that the use of tracer which is based on the another assumptions. The first assumption is that the radioactive isotopes are chemically identical with the stable isotopes of the same elements. This substitution of radioactive isotopes of an element for its stable isotopes in a compound, it does not affect the type or a strength of the bond of that element with other elements. This is the first assumption. Let me see the second assumption for the use of tracer is that the radioactive nature of the elements does not change the chemical or a physical properties of the compounds. Also in that until the moment of disintegration, the radioactive atom is indistinguishable from the stable atom except for the differences in mass and its radioactive properties. When the atom disintegrates, it is counted. It means that the atom may be transformed to one to another elements. Means in that case its behavior is no consequences to us. In the limitations of the tracer technique is that the absence of radioactive isotopes of the some elements, that is oxygen and nitrogen. In that oxygen and nitrogen we considered as the suitable half-lives. In that the radioactive isotopes of oxygen, the different isotopes of oxygen is that we considered that oxygen 14, oxygen 15 and oxygen 19. In these three radioactive isotopes, the half-lives are 72, 118 and 29 seconds. These half-lives are very short-lived and they are useful for tracers. For such elements, the stable isotopes with different masses are used as a tracer and their presence in the course of a reaction and could be detected by a mass spectrometer. These are the assumptions for the tracer used in radioisotopes. Let me see the tracer in studied in reaction mechanism. How to tracer is used in studying by using the reaction mechanism. In that we can see that the characteristics property of the radioactivity or its mass acts as a tag or a label, acts as a tag or a label using which the path of the element or of a compound which is containing the element can be traced. In a series of transformation leading to a chemical reaction, the element which is labeled is called a tracer element. Okay, let me discuss some examples of the tracer is detecting and the mechanism of the reaction. Let me see the first reaction, that is esterification reaction. In this reaction we can see that CH3COOH plus HOCH3, it gives CH3COOCH3 plus H2O. In this reaction we can see that the formation of water molecule. How to form these water molecules means the question is to be answered is, in water formation whether the OH from the acid or H from the alcohol, or another is that whether the OH from the alcohol and H from the acid are used. So the answer is that the oxygen from alcohol is labeled using oxygen 18. Oxygen from alcohol is labeled is oxygen 18. No oxygen 18 was detected in a water. Means this indicates that the OH from the alcohol and must have been utilized in water formation. Must have been utilized in water formation. This conclusion is well supported by the mechanism of reverse reaction. Let me see this reverse reaction, that is the hydrolysis of methyl acetate. Here we can see that the hydrolysis of methyl acetate, that is we take a CH3COO CH3 plus water, it gives the CH3COOH plus CH3OH. In here we can see that this water containing the oxygen 18 is used. Means oxygen 18 was found to be associated only with the acid and none with the alcohol. This is the first esterification reaction. Let me see the second mechanism, that is decomposition of H2O2 by PbO2. This is one of the mechanism for deciding the reaction for a tracer in studying the reaction mechanism. Let me see this. Here PbO2 plus H2O2, it gives the PbO plus H2O plus O2. In this reaction, the question to be answered is whether in the formation of oxygen, each of the two reactants, that is reactant PbO2 and H2O2, the contribute of one oxygen atom. Means in here we can see that the H2O2 which is containing oxygen 18 is used to get the answer. Means the oxygen 18 was found to be associated only with the oxygen and none with the water. Means this indicates that the oxygen gas, this oxygen gas which is came from the H2O2 only. Let me see the overall mechanism of this reaction is that here we can see that oxygen double bond Pb double bond O plus H single bond oxygen 18 single bond oxygen H. It gives the PbO plus H2O plus O2 oxygen oxygen single bond oxygen 18. Here we can see that the oxygen 18 is present for the H2O2 molecules, and this bond will be break and we get the O2. This is the second mechanism. Means here we can see the different examples are given for tracer in deciding the mechanism of reaction. These are the examples are air oxidation of carbon monoxide catalyzed by MnO2. This is one of the example. Another examples are oxidation of fumaric acid by acidified KMnO4. Also the examples are Friedel-Crafts reaction. In that we already know that the Friedel-Crafts reaction is that we take the aromatic hydrocarbon and acyl chloride and we get the C6H5COCH3 plus hydrochloric acid. Another example is that formation of intermediates. Means the reactant molecules gives intermediate and then gives the product. Another example is that the mechanism of electron transfer reaction. These are the examples for the tracer in studying reaction mechanism. Next we can see that use of tracer in structure determination. Generally, in the radioactive isotopes is used to deciding the structure of the molecules or a radicals, and in that which contain two or a more atoms of one element. It means it is used to decide whether these atoms are structurally equivalent or a not. So we find that we see the here the two examples are given. First the phosphorus pentachloride and another one is the thiosulfatine. Let me see the first example, phosphorus pentachloride. We already know that the phosphorus pentachloride, that is PCl5. This PCl5, which is formed by using the radioactive chlorine, was used to synthesizing the phosphorus pentachloride from phosphorus trichloride, that is PCl3 plus chlorine, and we get the phosphorus pentachloride. By using this reaction, the phosphorus pentachloride was subsequently hydrolyzed. This phosphorus pentachloride is subsequently hydrolyzed when phosphorus oxychloride, that is POCl3. Here we can see that POCl3 and hydrogen chloride were formed. This phosphorus pentachloride is hydrolyzed, we get the POCl3 plus twice HCl. If all the chlorines in the phosphorus pentachloride were structurally equivalent, then in that case the activity will be evenly distributed. All the chlorine atoms in the phosphorus pentachloride was structurally equivalent. It means that the activity in that case is evenly distributed between the POCl3 and HCl molecule. The activity, however, was found to be associated only with the HCl, not with the POCl3 molecules. This indicates that all the 5 chlorines in this PCl5, all chlorine atoms, all 5 chlorine in PCl3 are not structurally equivalent, and in the 2 chlorine atoms are structurally different from the remaining 3 chlorine atoms. Here the PCl5 2 chlorine atoms are structurally different from the remaining 3 chlorine atoms. So this observation supports the trigonal pyramidal structure of phosphorus pentachloride. This is the first example of phosphorus pentachloride which is used in tracer in structure determination. Another example is thiosulfatine. Here we can see that the thiosulfatine, that is S2O3 2-, here the two probable structures are given, structure first and structure second. Here we can see that in the structure first, the 2 sulfur atoms are structurally equivalent. These 2 sulfur atoms are structurally equivalent, and which is not in the case in the structure second. So it is to decide between the two structures, radioactive sulfurs was used. Here we can see that the radioactive sulfur is added to a solution containing sulfite ions. The thiosulfate ions containing activity were formed. Means here we can see that SO3 2- plus S sulfite, it gives the S2O3 2-. We give the activity of sulfite ions, thiosulfite ions. Means here the thiosulfite ions was then decomposed in aqueous solution in presence of silver nitrate, and formed Ag2S2O3. Was this Ag2S2O3 which is hydrolyzed, the silver sulfide is precipitate. Means here we can see that Ag2S2O3, it is hydrolyzed, it gives the sulfide, and this is precipitate, means Ag2S plus SO4 2-. Activity of Ag2S plus SO4 2- plus 2H plus ions. Means here we can see that the conclusion is that the structure first is correct. The activity will be distributed evenly between the precipitate of a silver sulfide and sulfite ions. Silver sulfides and sulfide ions, because the two sulfur atoms are structurally equivalent. In the structure first, the two sulfide ions are structurally equivalent, and the activity is found to be associated only with the precipitate and none with the phosphate sulfate ions, and thus supporting structure second, in which the two sulfurs are not equivalent structurally. In second, the two sulfur are not equivalent structurally, and in that case activity which is found to be associated only with the precipitate. Okay, this is the applications for radioisotopes. Thank you.